Well, the answer really is that you want to collect the maximum amount available to you, but you can only collect, and her $1,200 benefit is replaced by her $2,000 survivor benefit. We recommend that both spouses delay to age 70. One spouse can take advantage of spousal benefits as allowed if necessary. The wrong decision could cost you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. In this video, I want to share with you some of the pitfalls that are out there and how to avoid them. Hi there, I'm Mark Singer, President of Safe Harbor Retirement Planning and founder of Your Retirement Authority. For timely and up-to-date information on how to maximize your retirement income, subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the notifications bell below to make sure that you are alerted to when we post new videos. So let's start with the very basics and let's go back to what spousal benefits are, because divorced spouse benefits are not too different. The rules for spousal benefits are that the primary worker must have filed for benefits. The spouse must be at least 62 for a reduced benefit, or 66 or full retirement age for full benefit, and there are no delayed credits on spousal benefits after full retirement age. Now, as you can see here, the rules for divorced spouse benefits are the same as the spousal benefits if the marriage lasted 10 years or more, the person receiving the divorced spouse benefit is currently unmarried, the ex-spouse is at least 62 years old, and if the divorce was more than 2 years ago, the ex-spouse does not need to have filed for benefits. One of the interesting points here is some may not want to file for divorced spouse benefits because they don't want to communicate with the ex-spouse. But for Social Security purposes, the good news is you don't have to talk to your spouse in order to get this done. So don't let that be a landmine for you to move forward and collect your benefits. Now, here are some rules for the divorced spouse benefits. And it's interesting, if any of you remember, Johnny Carson, he was married 4 times. Larry King, he was married 8 times. And these rules would apply even if you had just been married once, or like Johnny 4 times, or Larry 8 times. If there is more than one ex-spouse, you can receive benefits on the same worker's record. The benefits paid to one ex-spouse do not affect those paid to the worker, the current spouse, or other ex-spouses. And the divorced spouse benefits stop upon remarriage of the spouse collecting benefits. In other words, if you remarry, you no longer are eligible for the divorced spouse benefit. I recently was speaking with someone who was collecting about $800 a month and was unaware that from 25 years ago when she was married and then divorced that she could collect on that worker's record. She increased her monthly income by almost $1,200 up to $2,000 per month, really making quite an impact on her life. Again, she was unaware of the fact of the things that she could do and the strategies available for her. But when she learned of the strategies available, it was a significant positive impact for her. So it is interesting. You could be married. You could be divorced. You could remarry. Your ex-spouse could pass away and you could be eligible for widowed survivor benefits. Of all of these benefits available to you, do you know how many you can collect? Well, the answer really is that you want to collect the maximum amount available to you, but you can only collect one at a time. You may be able, particularly as a widow, collect some money on the restricted application process even before you reach full retirement age and defer your own benefit to the age of 70. So there's numbers of different variations available, but the most important thing to remember is you may have 3, 4, even 5 different strategies available to you. The most important thing is to select the one that will give you the maximum amount over your lifetime, even if you have to reapply at some later time. By the way, there are 567 different strategies available. So if you're looking for more information, I would suggest, if you'd like, to learn how to maximize your retirement income or your Social Security income, that the next video will be about what if I were to claim at age 62. For more information about that, click on the link below. So I will resume my talking points now for you, for those who are divorced and looking for strategies to make sure that they can maximize their Social Security income. So I did mention the restricted application, and there are a number of applications available to utilize the restricted application, which used to be file and suspend, but was amended back in the year 2015. You can, if you were born before January 2nd, 1954, file a restricted application, which allows you to apply for, let's call it his record, the primary worker's record, the divorce's record, and claim on his record, defer your benefit till you're age 70. So you can, with many of the strategies available, if you are not going to collect enough, you may want to do the analysis to figure out whether or not the restricted application is in your favor, and then go about and make sure to file the restricted application. And you can do this either as a divorcee, or if you're widowed, you can actually do this before your full retirement age and then defer your own benefit. So there are many strategies available to you, as long as you understand which one is right for you and how to maximize your retirement income. Now, there are a lot of different strategies, and it's important to get the right guidance. I want to share with you my screen once more to tell you a little bit more about, if you do go down to the local Social Security office, what you can and cannot expect from the personnel down there. So what you can expect from Social Security is that they can estimate individual benefits and tell you the amount you are entitled to now, but they cannot project future benefits through scenario planning or help with innovative strategies designed to maximize benefits. The reason I share this with you is because it's so important to maximize your retirement income and understand when you're talking to the Social Security personnel what they can and cannot do, so you walk in with the right expectations. I think it's really important to find yourself a professional or an advisor who is well-versed in the area of Social Security, so that they can coordinate your retirement income with your Social Security income and all the other assets that you have with your goals, so that you can truly maximize your Social Security income. Widows may be leaving the most amount of money on the table when it comes to Social Security benefits. The reason for this is they're one of the few people who must go down to the local Social Security office to claim their benefit, which may mean they're not getting complete information. In this video, I will share with you some of the pitfalls to avoid and how to maximize your retirement income and Social Security benefits. Hi there, I'm Mark Singer, founder of Your Retirement Authority, and for over 30 years, president of Safe Harbor Retirement Planning. For up-to-date and timely information on how to maximize your retirement income and your Social Security benefits, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notifications bell so that you can become alerted to when we post new videos. I want to start our conversation off today and talk about how to properly coordinate your spousal benefits and the importance of that. Obviously, the goal with coordinating spousal benefits is to maximize your benefit now and later. And assuming you are married on a current basis, then figuring out how to choose which of the 567 different strategies that are best for you and your spouse are important. But it's also important to recognize that you have to plan for the future as well, where one of you may not be here. And the importance now of making sure that you understand the impact if you are to claim your eligibility, your benefit early. As I have indicated in other videos, almost 1/3 of people claim their benefit at age 62, in essence in what we call the penalty phase, and take anywhere from a 25 to 30% hit on a monthly basis for their benefit for the rest of their lives. But even more importantly, they actually put a stake in the ground for their surviving spouse, because it has a tremendous impact on the surviving spouse's benefit. So my first recommendation or tip to you is really you should not be, in most circumstances, taking an early benefit, particularly if you're expecting to maximize the Social Security benefit for your spouse when she outlives you. So I want to share with you what you can expect when you go to the local Social Security office and why you should find additional guidance, particularly as a widow. And again, I'm not exactly sure why this last category of people must go down to the local Social Security office, but just about everybody else can do everything online except for the widow. And it's important to recognize when you go into the office what the Social Security personnel can and cannot do for you. They can estimate your individual benefits. They can tell you the amount you are entitled to now. But they can't project future benefits through scenario planning, and they cannot help you with innovative strategies designed to maximize your benefits. So if you're going down to Social Security as a widow, which you must, then I strongly recommend that you get some additional guidance from your advisor or somebody who's well-versed in Social Security to help you parse through the information that you have received to make sure that it is accurate. So we'll continue today and talk a little bit about what the basic rules are for survivor benefits. The couple must have been married at least 9 months at the date of death. The survivor must be at least 60 for a reduced benefit, 50 if disabled, or full retirement age for a full benefit. The survivor benefit is not available for the widower who remarries before age 60, unless that marriage ends. So there is some planning that would indicate if you are widowed and you're about to remarry at the age of 58 or 59, that you may want to consider talking to an advisor and doing the math, or talking to your accountant to figure out whether or not it makes sense, particularly when it comes to Social Security benefits. And the divorced spouse survivor benefit is available if the marriage lasted at least 10 years. So let's give a brief, simple overview of how this works. If the spouse dies while both are receiving benefits, the widower may switch to the higher benefit. For example, Joe and Julie are married. Both are over full retirement age. Joe's benefit is $2,000. Julie's benefit is $1,200. Joe dies. Julie notifies Social Security, and her $1,200 benefit is replaced by her $2,000 survivor benefit. I'm about to share with you a couple of strategies with regards to widows in particular. But remember, there are over 567 different strategies available, which leads to a lot of confusion. So if after this video you still want to learn more about many of the other strategies, feel free to take a look at the next video, which is Is Social Security taxable? And click on the link below for the description of that video. Now let's take a look at some of the strategies available for filing for a widow. So let's resume the conversation and take a look at a couple of the strategies available for widows and the impact if you were to have claimed benefits early when you were married. So here are the rules. The survivor benefit will depend on, let's take a look at it very quickly, either the age at which the deceased spouse originally claimed his benefit and the age at which the widow claims the survivor benefit. The first is called the original benefit. The second is called the actual benefit. So here's an example of early claiming. Joe and Julie are married. Joe's PIA is $2,000. Joe filed for Social Security at 62. His benefit, therefore, was only 75% of his $2,000, or $1,500. Joe dies. Julie's survivor benefit will depend on when she claims it. If she claims it at her full retirement age or later, she'll be getting $1,650. If she claims it at age 60, her benefit would be $1,430. Let's remember those numbers for a moment. $1,650 if she claimed at full retirement age, or $1,430 if she claimed it early. Now let's take a look at an example of delayed claiming. Joe and Julie are married. Joe's PIA is still $2,000, yet this time he claimed at age 70. Therefore, he got the benefit of the delayed credits, so his benefit was $2,640. Joe dies. Now, if she claims it early, instead of $1,430, she'll get $1,887, or an increase of $450 a month. Or if she waits till her full retirement age, instead of $1,650 for early claiming, she'll now get $2,640, or almost $1,000 more a month. So you can see the significant impact on the widow if he claimed his benefit early. So coordinating spousal benefits is very important when it comes to maximizing your retirement income both now and later. If you are confused about these or any of the other 567 different strategies to maximize your Social Security benefits and your retirement income, and if you're interested in developing your own personalized retirement income plan, click on the link below to become my client. The first item I would like to share with you today is understanding what your primary insurance amount is, because that's important to understand how to calculate what your spousal benefits would be. So I'd like to share my screen with you for just a moment. So the first thing to understand is, how are Social Security benefits actually calculated? At age 62, each year's earnings are tallied up and indexed. The highest 35 years are then averaged in what they call the averaged indexed monthly estimate. That's then divided into a formula that then comes out with what the amount, the primary insurance amount, the PIA, will be when you reach full retirement age. The benefit is then increased each year by cost of living adjustments. So for example, a baby boomer born in 1957, assuming that he or she had been working at maximum Social Security since age 22, if you go through the formula, you'll find out that the PIA is approximately $3,000. That's the amount the worker will receive at full retirement age for those who were born in 1957. And the full retirement age chart, as you can see here, if you were born between 1943 and 1954, the full retirement age would be 66. If you were born in 1960 or later, the full retirement age is 67. and then they bracketed in between. For me, I'm 1955. So my full retirement age at which I would peg my PIA would be 66 and 2 months. So now that you understand a little bit about what the primary insurance amount is, let me share with you its significance as you take a look at understanding a little bit more what your spousal benefits could be. Again, let me take you to my screen and we'll take a look. So the spousal benefit equals 1/2 the primary worker's PIA if started at full retirement age. Now, a little bit of a history lesson. Back in 1935, when Social Security was born, if you recall, most of the people who were working were men at the time, and women were at home. But it was decided that even if she was at home, she should be eligible for at least part of a Social Security benefit, even if she didn't have the 40 quarters or a full working record. So this is where they came up with spousal benefits. So again, the spousal benefit equals 1/2 the primary worker's PIA if started at full retirement age. So for example, John's PIA is $2,000. Jane, if she had worked part-time, let's say, is eligible for $800. If Jane applies at full retirement age, her benefit will be $1,000, not the $800. So it's important to recognize that you have the ability to do the spousal benefit, and you can claim either off of your work record or off of your spouse's. Now, the rules for spousal benefits are that the primary worker must have filed for benefits, the spouse must be at least 62 for a reduced benefit or full retirement age for a full benefit, and there are no delayed credits allowed on spousal benefits after full retirement age. Now, we recognize that not all marriages work out. The odds tell us that. So it's important just to acknowledge the fact that there is also a divorced spouse benefit. And these rules are the same as spousal benefits. If the marriage lasted 10 years or more, the person receiving divorced spouse benefit is currently unmarried, the ex-spouse is at least 62, and if the divorce was more than 2 years ago, the ex-spouse does not need to have filed for benefits. Now, what's interesting is on this next slide is that you can have more than one ex-spouse receive benefits on the same worker's records. Johnny Carson was married 4 times, Larry King 8 times. So any one of those spouses could collect their full divorced spouse benefit, and it would have no impact on any of the other spouses or the husband, the ex-spouse, would have no impact on any of those individuals. By the way, there are 567 different claiming strategies, so I understand if there's still some confusion. If after this video you want to learn more information, the next video we've created is claiming strategies for widows. So if you'd like to learn more about that, then you can click on the link below and see the description for that video. I will now resume the talking points for this video, and we'll continue with coordinating spousal benefits. So let me share with you again my screen so we can walk through this together. So the goal in terms of coordinating spousal benefits is obviously how do you maximize benefits now and maximize benefits later. So let's go through some of the options and strategies that are available to you. One option is what we call the maximization strategy, where the lower earning spouse's PIA is more than 50% of the higher earning spouse's PIA, we recommend that both spouses delay to age 70. One spouse can take advantage of spousal benefits as allowed, if necessary. And in this way, you can maximize lifetime benefits over the average or long life expectancies. Now, we have back tested this. We have 7 different calculators that we work with. And this is where we come up with our recommendations for our scenarios. There is a hybrid strategy where the lower earning spouse's PIA is less than 50% of the higher earning spouse's PIA. In this instance, and it's one of the few where we recommend that you should apply at age 62, we suggest that the lower earning spouse claim early and the higher earning spouse claim at 70. This would generate income sooner while maximizing higher earning spouses' benefits over both lifetimes. And let me share with you a couple of other strategies that are available that we talk with our clients about on a regular basis. The first is what we call the restricted application. This is in lieu of what was the file and suspend, which no longer is available since the year of 2015. We're assuming both are married, both are born before January 2nd, 1954. Then, assuming both are filing, if he is older, let's say, and she could file on her own at full retirement age, we recommend that they use a restricted application strategy, which is where she would take half of his benefit now, delay hers, getting delayed credits till the age of 70, and then reapply at her age 70, maximizing the benefits for the family. Another option is if there is a higher earner who has a shorter life expectancy, we recommend that the higher earner delay, if at all possible, to age 70, so that he can then allow for the survivor benefit to be higher for the spouse. We will go into that further in our next video in terms of claiming strategies for widows. Finally, I want to share with you a couple of stories from my experience working with clients. Sometimes you don't even know what you don't know, right? So we had somebody who had been married 25 years ago, has remarried since, very successful second marriage, but was unaware that she could take from the ex-spouse's worker's record a benefit. So she was getting $800 a month, but when we made her aware of the fact she could also take a divorced spouse benefit. Now, you can't take both benefits, but you can take the higher of the two. What happened for her is she went from $800 a month to $2,000 a month just by becoming aware of the fact that she could take a divorced spousal benefit. One of the other stories we have, and it deals with, it's a little bit complicated. Again, there are 567 different strategies. But if you had been married beforehand and then remarried, and then your current husband dies, you could be eligible for your own record, a spousal benefit, or a divorced benefit, or a survivor benefit. You're actually eligible for all 4. The key is to select the benefit that is the highest one for you. And that's why sometimes going through the calculators is really an important exercise to make sure you can maximize the Social Security benefit for you. If you are confused about which of the 567 different strategies is best for you, and you're interested in how to develop a personalized retirement income plan to help you maximize your retirement income, click on the link below to become my client. Also, if you liked this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel and tell a friend. Thank you for watching, and here's to enjoying your retirement journey.